Timestamp November 4th, 2024, 7 o'clock p.m., somewhere in there. Okay. Hex is going to cause some mischief. Oh, hey, Molly. Hey, baby girl. Yeah, you go ahead and eat, baby. That's Molly. She is most likely one of Lorge's many grandchildren, Tiger Sheltorty. Alright, so embarrassing but real life story. We had a plumbing issue many months ago now. I blocked it out. In me doing what I had to do to fix it, and yeah, this guy, I fixed it. Yeah, that felt weird coming out of my mouth, frankly. Yeah, it did. But yeah, no, I fixed it. YouTube videos, and I'm actually pretty good with my hands, so. But in doing so, we now have a very, very, very slight hole that leads from the kitchen to the Florida room through the wall, because where the pipe went up, I had to do shenanigans. And Molly, who is not feral, just antisocial, she has since then decided that she lives in the Florida room, and she keeps Rhodey, my shepherd, company when he's in there. But it's all those movies and sitcoms where the dad's garage, is just stacks and stacks of crap. That's our Florida room. There's enough room for Rhodey to move around and run around and be a clown. But the rest of it is boxes and furniture and stuff. A lot of the product and/or like fixtures and whatnot that we brought back from the shop when we closed, and we're slowly trying to go through it and liquidate what we can here and there. But it's just hanging out, occupying, 80% of a 13 by 20 room. So we've got baggage. But yeah, she loves being high. She's voting yes on 3. It was a Florida joke. It was free. But yeah, no, she loves just perching up on the boxes and watching the world. But once or twice a day, if she's not in the mood for dog food, she'll come sneaking through the hole to come in, grab some food, water, and then back out again. It's a thing. So health check, I feel okay. I'm still, there's anxiety, a multitude of reasons. The 2 primary ones, don't step on your tail, baby. The 2 primary ones being election day is tomorrow. We're going to be going to vote. If you've watched even one video, you know who I'm voting for. I'm feeling very blue. And even though it may not matter here in Florida, hard to say, we're going to be doing that tomorrow. I do think women voters are going to be a bit of a surprise this time around. Because I think a lot of the women voters out there, even in, and I heard was it Jesse Waters and some other Republican idiot saying something about, if women secretly vote blue, it's the same as adultery with their husband or whatever. Oh, number one, you guys are adorable. Yeah, categorically, not even close. Number two, you're really worried about the women voters, aren't you? Hmm. Wow. Must be tough being that insecure. All right. Um. I was insecure too when I was 10. So I'm hoping the women surprise us. Because I think a lot of the gals out there have kind of had enough of the attempted Handmaid's Tale reboot. We've outgrown that kind of thinking. It's really Neanderthal. So I am concerned that there may be mischief out tomorrow, just because I guess somewhere in Florida, Neptune Beach, something like that, had some little punks out waving machetes at a library where voting was taking place. There's that's not okay. Never okay. I don't care which side you're on. That's not okay. I hope. I heard some brief things about the charges, but realistically, I think the young men in question need an orange jumpsuit and a timeout to really think about what they did. Because you start threatening people essentially with a sharp, pointy thing. You need to sit on the bed and wait for Dad to come home. You know, that's pretty serious. You're threatening women, really? Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, no, Dark Brandon. Yeah. Yes, I know he's not running, but God, this still tickles me. Oh, I love it. Oh, vanilla cream brulee, Harry and David, because we get it in, and I love it so much. It's kind of become one of my go-tos around here, just because I've got almost a constant supply that I can get really cheap, and it's really good. So a little anxious about the election because I feel like there's a lot riding on this. Like the future of our country in general. I mean, every time there's a 4-year election, it's always the future of our country. But this one, because of things like Project 2025 and the fact that the orange guy wants to pretty much be a king, in all but title, the future of our country really does rest on this election, because our country may not be what it should be, was supposed to be after this, if he wins. I don't know how else to put it. This is serious. And I'm not trying to do a Joe Biden impression. It's serious, no joke. If you look at his playbook, he's an authoritarian. He's a fascist. And there are people that are saying he's actually an admirer of old Adolf, which, man, that's never really a good sign as to a person's character. If you ask me who I admire, I'm going to tell you Rod Serling, Jim Henson, Walt Disney. These are some of the people that I look at and go, wow, you had ideas that no one else did, and you made something that literally changed the world as we know it in some aspect. If someone starts mentioning, Adolf Hitler, Um, Benito Mussolini, anyone in that kind of. No, Squeak was not on that list. Anyone in that kind of roster, that category. Um, Leave the party early and don't let them touch the children. It's time to get your coat. Ooh, we got that thing. Yeah. We have no place for that in society, much less in leadership in society. No. No. Putin, he's a good man. Putin was a government agent assassin, basically, for the Russian government before he took it over. If he's an interesting case study, but if he's your hero or your role model, you may have bigger problems than, group therapy can really fix. Might be bigger than that. So anyway, I'm concerned about the election because I feel there's so much riding on this. Literally the shape of our country, which could be literal if he, sells Puerto Rico and tries to buy Greenland again. Just saying. The other. Do you want to talk? Yeah, okay. You get your own phone. Go get your Samsung. The other thing that has me anxious is I started making phone calls today. I talked with my dad's doctor. We will call him Dr. Baker. Sounds like an amusing name. No offense to Ron or Christy. Love you. And I let him know that my mom was embarrassed, basically. She was trying to protect my dad, but that there were a lot of things that were left out during their last discussion. And I got a lot of, oh, yeah, because I mentioned the hallucinations, the fact that he's been doing that for 6 years, his paranoid delusions, and the fact that the projects that keep him happy and busy are him basically barricading the house from this burglar. And the doc was kind of... That was the sound of Molly going back out to hang out with Rhodey. But the doc was kind of... It's on the phone, but I could hear oh, well, that's... yeah, that's a lot more serious than a mild diagnosis. That I didn't know anything about that. That's pretty serious. That's 6 years, you say. It was that kind of thing. So, but I guess he called my mom, and my mom wasn't real forthcoming to verify that. So, when I checked in with my mom later on, I asked if Dad was standing right by when she was on the phone, and she was like, yeah, that's what I figured. When the hostage taker is standing next to the hostage, they have to be careful what they say over the phone. It's kind of the almost the mentality that I'm looking at. And I even told the doc, I'm like, because I guess he had called her before he called me, because I'd left a message saying, hey, we got issues, can you call me? And he mentioned to me, he's like, your mom wasn't really verifying, giving me a whole lot to work with. And I told him, I'm like, my dad was probably standing right there. Because if my dad has a spidey sense where that's concerned, on a phone call like that, when Mom and I are talking about serious stuff that we don't necessarily want Dad to hear about, Dad somehow can sense that and will basically lurk. Because I'll even, say, is Dad standing right next to you? Yeah, that's true. It's like, okay. I'd ask you to blink twice, but it's on the phone, so I won't hear it. All right. Well, what are my options here? I need to ask you questions that you can innocently answer, which won't cue him into what we're talking about. That sounds like a great idea. Okay, good. All right, we're on the same page. All right. So, but the doc is going to be looking into what our options are, frankly. Because he hasn't technically threatened anyone. He's just said, I'm going to shoot the burglar. When I catch the burglar, I'm putting a bullet in him. And then 2 sentences later, hey, so did you break into my place last Saturday? Because I got some stuff missing. Do you have it? Now, I've taken these tests before where, A equals B, B equals C. Does A equal C? It does, but, in that legal sense, it hasn't been a direct threat. Semantically, you could argue that, I guess, but trying to get him help and maintain the rules, I don't know how this is going to play out. I've never been here before. My boss is fantastic. Talked to her this morning about her, let her know what was going on. And I guess she had some issues with her sister a while back where there were some issues, and maybe some violence. So she's very sympathetic about these things. And she's just a good lady in general, too. So, and I've worked for her for all totaled like 4 years. So she knows me pretty well. I know her pretty well. And she gives a damn. So she told me if, I need anybody to talk to, or even just, to call up to scream for a minute before hanging up, she was open to it. So I appreciate that. But I don't know how this is going to play out. I told the doc that, look, he's having these issues, and he's also sitting on a pile of guns with 1,000 rounds of ammunition. And the doc was like, oh my, that's a lot. And it's like, yeah, we know. It's like, well, is there any way we can maybe get those guns away from him? Do you think he'd turn them over? It's like, no, he's kind of one of those cold dead hands kind of guys. And the doc was like, what do you mean cold dead hands? I'm like, you can take the gun from me if you can pry it out of my cold dead hands. I'm thinking to myself, you're an American. Have you not heard this phrase before? And he was like, oh, okay, so we can't just ask and he'll hand him over. It's like, no. I said, look, the 2 things that he kind of identifies his manhood with are his ability to drive and his guns, which is more or less true. How I turned out a liberal, I don't know. Actually, I do know, but beside the point. Theater and being out in the arts culture that kind of opened my eyes to, hey, that's narrow-minded. So, yeah. The doc agreed if he's having these issues that maybe him having an arsenal at his fingertips, not the best position. He's talking about in-home healthcare and stuff like that. I'm like, Doc, I don't know that I'd send anybody over there. Plane. I still live near the airport. My house hasn't moved. Weird. But yeah, no, the idea of sending somebody over there if he has that paranoid moment, I don't know. I don't know how far my dad will go. He asked, well, do you think he's a danger to himself? It's a difficult question to answer. The reason he walks with a limp is because he ripped his knee up when he stepped in the tiger trap that he had dug the day before, because he forgot that he had dug it, because he was going to try and catch or injure the burglar. Is he a danger to himself? Well, he caught himself in one of his own booby traps. You tell me, is that dangerous? It wasn't lethal. I do think he's a danger to others. If he goes on if he has a delusion or a particular paranoid moment, the idea that somebody could get shot, yeah, real likely. Real likely. Is it enough to put him in a facility? I don't know. It depends on your opinion on things. It's a science, but it's subjective. How many hallucinations is too many? Is one a day? Is an ongoing active hallucination enough? Is the idea that he can't remember sometimes what he was doing 10 minutes before, and he has that happen several times a day, is that, where do you draw the line? How far is far enough? This is my first time trying to commit a parent, so this is new turf for me. And I've tried a lot of weird and crazy things. This is new. I don't know. Do I personally think he's dangerous? Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. Do I feel like my family has been threatened or I've been threatened? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because A equals C. Will someone do something about it? I have no idea. I think he's dangerous, and I know he needs help. That's what I know. And yeah, I know that I think he's dangerous. I believe that in my core. I'm concerned that the medical powers that be are going to think that we're just like meddling kids out for the estate. No, we think he needs help, and he's needed help for a long time. He's been hallucinating for 6 years. This isn't a golly gee new symptom. This is something that's been ongoing, and that's a mid-stage symptom. He's not maybe going into mild. He's been in mid-stage. That's the bottom line. He's been in mid-stage for at least 6 years. Because that is a mid-stage symptom. It does not appear during mild, typically. You know what I mean? He's not at the starting line. He's halfway down the track. And he has guns. And according to him, which I know he's at least got a few. I know one time he said he had over 15, one time he said he had 24, and then on another occasion he said he had 10. I don't know what to believe. But even if we go with the low number of 10, that's about 11 guns too many. You know what I mean? For somebody in his condition, seeing things, hearing things, believing certain things. No. Dear God, no. Last person that needs to have a rifle in their hands. And I say that twofold. One, because of the delusions, and two, because he's a damn good shot. We can only hope and pray that he fires the hallucinations. If he actually aims at a real person, they're not coming back. There's no respawn. You know what I mean? He'll take them out. He's had the training and he has the skill. So yeah, that happened. I don't know. I do not know. It's very, very new territory for me. I don't like it. It's weird. Get some more creamer. There we go. It's weird though. This may sound odd, but in the interest of full disclosure, because again, this whole thing that I'm doing here, get on the burner, puts the lotion on the skin, there we go. Coffee pot was like, no, don't put me back. I thought after I got off the phone with the doc that this may sound weird, just give you some insight onto my personality. That too. I thought that I might feel dirty. Like I was betraying my dad or something like that. Even with all that's gone on, I thought I might have that like feeling when I hung up with the doc. And I didn't. I don't. I'm frustrated because I'm not even sure how serious they're taking it, or, if I'm being blown off, believed, whatnot. Because, but I'm anxious because I want something to happen because he needs help and I don't want to get shot. I've been shot at before. Hollywood makes it look really cool. It isn't. I definitely don't want to get shot at or shot by my own dad. It's so Kentucky. Or, Cheney even. But yeah, I thought I might feel, dirty or guilty after I got off the phone, and I don't. I'm more concerned as to whether or not the phone call did anything or not. I mean, my mom's already not in good health. She definitely won't bounce back from getting shot either. Do I think my dad would do that? The newspapers are full of those headlines, aren't they? I don't know. I think he's dangerous. And he has the means to do stuff, He's a well-armed engineer whose brain is breaking. Really bad things could happen. Because really bad things could happen. It may sound selfish, but I'd rather they not happen in my direction. I don't want them to happen in anybody's direction, but I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know. New territory. Definitely not a path I ever thought I'd walk down. I feel guilty, but I don't care for it. It's different. If that makes sense. I think it does. Anyway. Gonna drink my coffee. And then I'm gonna go to bed because going back to, I think I called her Linda. Going back to Linda's store tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., something like that. 3-7 hike. I don't know. I'll keep you posted. But yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna go do what we can do at her store. And come back here, grab Alex, and we're gonna go vote. And hopefully not get shot at there, and or I kind of have a no machete policy. It's a pretty strict policy. Yeah. On that note, it's your right to have a voice. Go use your voice. And you have free will. But if you're watching any of my videos, you know what color to vote for, because it's the only one that makes sense right now. The other guys have lost their way. And especially if you're in a minority group, black, brown, green, rainbow, do not vote red. And even women at that point, with some of the different things, your rights are the last thing they're concerned about. They want to stay in charge, and they like getting paid. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. The ones that do care about you are the ones that took a stand and got pushed out of their own party. I would never personally vote for Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger, unless the alternative was much worse. But they at least had the courage to say right is right and wrong is wrong. Give them major props for that. And if you're still not sure, look at how many old school Republicans are saying vote blue. They know that, and I use this word loosely, their party has lost their way. If you vote for that, if they win, it is the end of America as we know it. It sounds so dramatic, I know. Kids, ladies and gentlemen, it's reality. Let your fingers do the walking through Project 2025, and it will make your blood run cold. The things they want to do. They want to dismantle and remove NOAA. That organization that talks about and warns about hurricanes, because they're climate sensitive. They talk about climate change, and we can't have that because we're going to deny science. That group is out there saving people's lives here in Florida just by keeping us up to date. They're important. Anybody in like Louisiana, Texas, any of the areas that get affected by hurricanes on a regular basis, you want NOAA there. The Red Hats do not have your best interest in mind, is my point. So anyway, I'm going to drink my coffee, and I'm going to get a couple hours sleep. Maybe as many as like 6. It'll be exciting. And I need to remember, talking about this tomorrow, I need to remember to tell you about my cat Hex. He's fine. He just Made me think perhaps more and more yesterday that he might be an alien. But we'll talk about that later. It could be, I don't know. We haven't ruled it out. I don't mean like illegal alien, I mean like, you know, did some very, very I'm not a cat kind of stuff the other day. Like, what is wrong with you, kind of. Anyway, we'll go into it later. Make it a great day.